Hi, welcome back to Millennial Theramom. Today, I wanted to share just a video about community and connection and groups. So, I don't know about y'all, but I know that at least from my experience growing up, it felt a little bit isolated. So, it was, my mom and my siblings, and we were each other's community, but there wasn't always a whole tight knit network of I'm going to talk to my cousin about this thing I'm going through. I'm going to talk to my pastor about this thing. It was very much you keep your dirty laundry at home, so to speak. That's kind of what we were taught. And then we moved around a lot too. So it was really hard to dig into deep relationships and deep community. So I kind of just learned to go through life creating surface level relationships. And though all the relationships I've had impacted me for the good or for the bad, I didn't always see it as something that I needed, that I wasn't interdependent, that, something that I really valued. It kind of sucks to say, but it's truth. And it wasn't until I met my husband in 2020, I got reconnected to my faith, and I started being part of the faith community, serving, volunteering, that I started making some real connections. I met people through the Just Married group I was part of. I met people through just the kids nursery volunteering group. And I started to really experience what it was like to share with people my burdens, share with people things that were on my heart, had people praying for me, had people dropping food off when after in the postpartum period. There was just I just felt so enveloped with love and connection, and I didn't feel guilty saying I'm struggling with this or I need help with this. I mean, I'm still working on that. There are certain times when it's still harder to ask for help, but I want to say that it's been a growth area for me, and now I just want to spread it with anybody and everybody who cares. I'm learning how to be a better friend, a better sister, a better daughter, a better mom, a better spouse by actually showing up for people and allowing them to be vulnerable by sharing my vulnerabilities. I think there's too much stigma and shame around talking about what's real, and that's how trauma survives. That's how anxiety and depression get worse, because we feel like we're the only ones, and we're not. People, the loving, healthy relationships in our life want to help us, and they want us to be healed and healthy. And so again, I just wanted to create this video to talk about a little bit about this community and connection. I know that not everybody is privileged enough to have those types of communities and connections in their lives, and maybe they don't feel like they have any healthy people necessarily that they can open up to. So I did want to share about something called groups, support groups, therapy groups, therapeutic groups, and just the benefits that that can have, especially as you start this journey of like, I'm going to actually say what I feel and not just say, I'm fine, everything is good. So a few different benefits about joining a group. Again, whether that's therapeutic, support group, church group, whatever you are led to. One is that groups can offer that network of support, of encouragement, validation, comfort, and empathy. Other group members might have walk similar paths, or they might have additional insight and perspectives. And sometimes we just need to hear that somebody else has gone through it or is going through it to know that this is a normal part of life. And if it's not, this is a part of life that I can share with others. Again, the shame, that stigma that sometimes comes with certain experiences like postpartum depression, anxiety, trauma, and all of that can be healed, or at least start the process of healing with some community and some validation. Number two, which is a big one, is that groups can offer this connection. So again, we're not meant to go through life alone. And studies show that loneliness and isolation are actually associated with higher risks for health problems like heart disease, depression, and cognitive decline. Brene Brown, who I will link her video here, just social worker and a professor who studies courage and vulnerability and shame and empathy, states connection is why we're here. We are hardwired to connect with others. It's what gives purpose and meaning to our lives. And without it, there is suffering. So trauma truly heals in healthy relationships where we can be seen, heard, validated, and respected. Again, these healthy relationships are key to living a wholehearted life where you know that your needs matter and that whatever you bring to the table is okay. It may not be like, wow, I'm so proud of you for doing that toxic thing. It might just be like, hey, what's happening? Like, why did you feel like you're in a place right now where that was your best option? Like, how can I support you? That's just an example. People show up differently. Um, Number three is that groups can offer a safe space to share your true feelings without judgment. So it's a place to practice this courage about being vulnerable with how you're actually feeling, without maybe feeling like you're going to hurt somebody's feelings. If it's a confidential space, that helps it. Sometimes you might not be ready to tell your significant other, family member, anybody what's actually on your heart, but it's still important for you to get that out. So a group can offer this safe space. Um, number Oh, and in practicing this in this safe space, hopefully you can then bring this courage that you're building, a vulnerability, out to other safe relationships in your life. So again, it helps you build those skills. And speaking of skills, number four is that groups can often offer practical skills and education to help you cope with certain seasons. So whether again you're a new parent in postpartum, someone navigating depression, anxiety, or any other loss, any other season in your life, you can learn more through others when they talk about certain things that have helped them, things that they've considered, different perspectives, and then depending on the type of group you're in, if it's facilitated by a mental health professional or professional, then you can get feedback and specific skills from that provider too to practice. And number five was groups can offer this unique space for growth and accountability because others are usually working towards similar goals or have different similar seasons that they're in. They are there for similar reasons. So maybe they also want to grow in a certain skill set. So they can help you grow and then also show you that this growth process is worth it. I'm not gonna delve too deep into it, but there are some different types of groups. One of them is support groups that are typically led by peers who receive training, but they can also be led by mental health professionals. So Postpartum Support International, for example, has some support groups for that postpartum season, but different support groups might focus on different issues, life situations. There's also the 12-step self-help groups. Those are typically geared towards individuals struggling with an addiction, such as alcohol, drugs, gambling, sex, etc. And participants typically work through 12 steps. There's also usually peer-led. They are also usually peer-led. And then there's often separate groups for the loved ones of individuals struggling with those addictions. There is therapy groups that are typically led by mental health professionals who facilitate, provide treatment to a group navigating a similar condition, transition, or circumstance. Some might be covered by insurance and some may not. It's usually hit or miss. And then there's church or faith groups, life groups that, again, usually associated with certain faith, and you can check into the resources to see what they have. Different formats might be online or in person. Online can sometimes be convenient, especially if you're navigating things like transportation, distance, small kids, packed schedules. But in person can also have its benefits because you get that in-person facial expression, body language. And then some are open, means like come whenever. Some are closed, which means like we're going to be running for 10 weeks. I'm specifically starting a group in September for postpartum moms that will be 10 weeks, close, register by September 3rd. And again, there's different ways that people lead them. I am currently working on a network, group therapy network. If you go to grouptherapynetwork.com or follow the Instagram or Facebook page at Group Therapy Network, That is my hope, to just increase awareness of and access to a group's healing space. Therapeutic work doesn't have to be just one-on-one. Healing happens in community, and that is my hope and vision, that more people can get the access and the skills to be vulnerable, to get the support that they need, because nobody should be struggling alone. Life is too short to struggle with everything on your own. And I know that some of us learned not to put their dirty laundry out there, not to trust people. But again, what hurts in relationship heals in relationships. And just as I've kind of had this revelation in my life in these past few years, I really just want to share that with others. So thank you. And yeah, I'll put some links in the notes section, but also feel free to follow me at Millennial Theramom, and also Group Therapy Networks, just to keep posted. All right, bye y'all.